Do your head right. Do your job. Take the laundry. Right. I'm not your servant. Get out!
We'd been dreaming of this moment for years, the day we'd finally plant our flag in a slice of the American dream. My wife, Sarah, and I had clawed our way through late nights of budgeting, eating cheap pasta, and skipping date nights to save every penny. When we closed on our two-story colonial in a quiet Chicago suburb, with its wraparound porch and a yard big enough for a small garden, it felt like we'd won a marathon. The neighborhood was postcard perfect, manicured lawns, kids on bikes, the smell of charcoal grills on weekends. Sarah, a tech consultant who could debug code faster than I could brew coffee, deserved this. Her laugh could light up a room, and her knack for fixing anything from a wonky router to a creaky door made her my hero. We were ready for our movie, a peaceful life, maybe debates over paint colors or whether to plant roses or tulips. But we didn't know that next door lived a woman who'd turn our dream into a battleground. Edith and Walter, our neighbors, seemed like they'd stepped out of a 1970s sitcom. Edith, in her late 60s, had a stiff blonde bob and eyes that always looked like she'd just been mildly insulted. Walter, a lumbering man with a doughy face, wore sweatpants or bathrobes at all hours, moving with the sluggishness of someone who'd given up on ambition long ago. They'd lived in their house for 40 years, and Edith wore that fact like a crown. "We were here when this was all farmland," she'd say, gesturing at the tidy lawns with a smugness that felt more like a claim to the throne than a fun anecdote. At first, we played the good neighbor game, waving, smiling, making small talk about the weather. But the cracks showed fast. Edith's porch sweeping always sent dust and leaves drifting onto our side of the property line. Walter would stand at their picture window, arms crossed, staring at our house for minutes at a time. We chalked it up to old folks being set in their ways, maybe in used to new faces. But there was something else we couldn't ignore. We were the only black family on the block. We'd noticed it when we moved in, but it wasn't a deal breaker. We weren't here to make a statement. We just wanted to live, to build a home. But to Edith, our presence was a challenge to her carefully curated world, and she was determined to remind us we didn't belong. The annoyances piled up like snow in a Chicago winter. A letter from the HOA complained that our trash bins were out an hour past pickup. A handwritten note appeared on our door, whining about our loud, jazz music, a soft Miles Davis record we played one Sunday afternoon. Sarah, ever the optimist, baked a cherry pie as a peace offering. It was left on our doorstep the next morning, untouched. I offered to help Walter clear his clogged gutters. He grunted and shuffled away. The invisible line between our yards became a battlefield, thick with unspoken hostility. We tried to hold on to our dream, sipping coffee on our porch swing, tending our little herb garden. But Edith's disapproval was a constant hum, fraying our nerves. We told ourselves they'd get used to us, that this Cold War would fizzle out. We were wrong. It wasn't a war of attrition, it was a prelude to something much uglier. The storm broke on a Saturday morning, the kind of golden, sun-soaked day that feels like a reward for surviving the workweek. I was in the backyard, wrestling with a new charcoal grill, cursing under my breath at the instruction manual. Sarah was in the driveway, washing her SUV, her ritual of calm. She was in her favorite tracksuit, hair tied back, humming to her playlist through earbuds. She looked radiant, at peace. Then Edith appeared, a specter in a faded floral bathrobe, Walter trailing like a shadow in his matching blue one. In her arms was a wicker hamper overflowing with dirty laundry socks, underwear, a stained polo shirt that screamed Walter. It was so absurd, my brain froze, like seeing a dog drive a car. "Excuse me." Edith's voice cut through the air, sharp as broken glass. Sarah pulled out her earbuds, confused. "Can I help you, Edith?" she asked, keeping her tone even. Edith marched to the edge of our driveway, stopping just short of the property line, and shoved the hamper forward. "It's Saturday. Laundry day. The help usually picks it up by 9. The words landed like a punch to the gut. Sarah's posture stiffened, her eyes narrowing. "I'm not the help," she said, voice low but firm. "I'm your neighbor. My name is Sarah." Edith's face twisted into a sneer. "Don't get uppity with me, young lady. We've lived here for 40 years. We have standards." I dropped my tools and strode over, heart hammering. "That's enough, Edith," I said, trying to keep my voice steady. But she ignored me, her eyes locked on Carla. In her mind, Sarah's presence in this neighborhood could only mean one thing: a servant. The argument escalated fast. Sarah told her to take the laundry and leave, her voice like steel. Edith's face reddened. "How dare you? You people are all the same, aggressive, entitled." The phrase, "you people," hung in the air, a racist dagger. Before we could respond, Edith pulled out her phone and dialed 911, her voice morphing into a trembling sob. "Help! My neighbor's threatening me. She's hostile. I'm scared for my life." My stomach dropped. This was the nightmare every black person in America knows too well: a white woman's tears, a 911 call, and the potential for catastrophe over something as trivial as laundry. The 10 minutes it took for the police to arrive felt like a lifetime. Edith stood her ground, clutching her phone like a weapon, the hamper at her feet like a bizarre trophy. Walter lurked behind a hedge, a spineless spectator. Sarah and I stood together, a silent front, the weight of the moment crushing us. 2 police cruisers pulled up, lights off, but ominous. Officer Thompson, an older man with a drooping mustache and a weary expression, went straight to Edith. She launched into a performance, dabbing dry eyes, claiming Sarah had screamed threats over a simple laundry question. Thompson scribbled notes, his face sympathetic, already buying her story. But Officer Hayes, younger with sharp eyes, lingered on the hamper. "Why bring the clothes if you're just asking about a service?" he asked. Edith sputtered, but Thompson cut in. "Neighbor dispute. Civil matter. Work it out." They left, Edith flashing a venomous smirk as she retreated. That night, in the quiet of our bedroom, Sarah broke down. She tried to have me arrested for not washing her clothes in our driveway. The violation was a wound to our sanctuary. Our home, meant to be a fortress, felt exposed. We couldn't let this go. This wasn't a misunderstanding. It was a deliberate attack, rooted in racism. We decided to fight, not with anger, but with strategy. We hired Victoria Hayes, a civil rights lawyer with a reputation for dismantling powerful opponents. Her office was a sleek fortress of competence, and her no-nonsense demeanor gave us hope. "Document everything," she instructed. We bought a leather-bound journal, logging every glare, every leaf swept our way. We installed a high-definition security system, cameras on the driveway, porch, and yard, all cloud-stored. Victoria also hired Frank, a grizzled private investigator, to dig into Edith's past. What he uncovered was chilling. 10 years ago, a Hispanic family, the Garcias, had nearly bought the house on Edith's other side. They backed out after anonymous complaints to their jobs, a baseless CPS call, and a keyed car. 20 years earlier, a gay couple fled after Edith's nuisance lawsuits and a failed restraining order. And 40 years ago, in another town, a black woman named Clara endured lies about her husband's advances and accusations against her son over a missing cat Edith is doing. Clara's trembling voice on Frank's recording haunted us. That woman has a sickness in her soul. She sees people as infestations. We weren't just fighting for our home. We were fighting for every family Edith had driven away. The harassment took a new form. Edith started filming us with a tablet, sitting on her porch for hours, the screen angled at our house. At first, we thought she was video calling or playing games, but her posture was too deliberate, the camera too steady. We logged it. 10:30 a.m., Edith filming our house from the porch. She grew bolder, panning the tablet across our yard while pretending to check her roses. It was a digital siege, unnerving but futile. "Let her," Victoria said. "Her footage of you doing nothing makes her look obsessive. Just keep your cameras rolling." The turning point came unexpectedly. Tom, a kind widower across the street who'd witnessed the laundry incident, showed up at our door one night, agitated. Over whiskey at his poker game, Walter had bragged about Edith's genius plan. They'd order a $1,000 tablet, retrieve it empty from the depot, and have it delivered to our porch. Edith would film Sarah stealing it, then call 911 for grand theft, a felony, to ruin her career and force us out. The plan was diabolical, complete with a delivery receipt and GPS proof. We called Victoria at dawn. "This is felony territory," she said, her voice electric. "Act normal. Don't touch the package. Your cameras are your witnesses. I'll handle the police." That afternoon, a delivery truck dropped a box on our porch. Edith positioned herself behind her rose bushes, tablet ready. Sarah pulled into the driveway, stepped over the box without a glance, and went inside. I did the same. Edith's confusion was palpable through our camera feed. Victoria called the precinct's non-emergency line, presenting our case as counsel, conspiracy, false reporting, video evidence. 2 squad cars arrived, bypassing Edith's house. Sergeant Ellis, a commanding black officer, met Victoria on our lawn. Officer Hayes, the skeptical one from before, was there too. Victoria laid it out. The empty box, Edith's filming, her history of targeting minorities. She's setting up a crime scene, Victoria said, pointing to the box. Ellis nudged it light as air. Hayes confiscated Edith's tablet. Why set this up? Ellis demanded. Edith's facade cracked. There's no tablet in there, she admitted, voice barely audible. Handcuffs clicked as Hayes arrested her for conspiracy and false reporting. Neighbors gaped. Walter fled to his garage, slamming the door. Edith's hateful stare met Sarah's unflinching gaze as she was led to the cruiser. The legal aftermath was grueling. Edith got bail but was slapped with a restraining order, confining her to her house. Walter, questioned as a co-conspirator, confessed everything, throwing her under the bus. Our cameras, Frank's report, and Clara's testimony built an ironclad case. Edith's lawyer, a slick operator named Richard Voss, painted her as a senile victim of our aggressive cameras. But the evidence was overwhelming. Edith pled guilty to a misdemeanor false reporting charge, 2 years probation, counseling, permanent no-contact order. We wanted the felony, but Victoria warned that a trial risked acquittal. This is a guaranteed conviction, she said. We agreed, exhausted but resolute. Clara, inspired by our fight, filed a civil suit against Edith, joined by the Garcias. Edith's finances and reputation crumbled. Walter divorced her. Their house was sold to a young family with kids who loved our sprinklers. We debated moving, but Sarah refused. If we leave, she wins. This is our victory. We stayed, hosting barbecues, planting flowers, rebuilding community. Our home became a fortress of resilience. The scars remain, but so does our strength. Sitting on our porch swing, we savor a peace we fought for, a peace we'll never take for granted. What do you think about this story of injustice and redemption? In the comments, share your thoughts on confronting everyday racism and systemic abuse. Have you faced similar battles? Take a stand. Let's talk about building communities where everyone belongs. Your voice can drive change.